Meeting was called to order with no one answering roll call. The Mayor Ridenhour, and I'm here. Earl?
Here.
Ewing?
Here.
Hardin? Knox?
Here.
Miller?
Here.
Zimmerman? The minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. Any corrections or anything? Fiscal officer report. You want to read that, one of you two, finance committee?
$1,497,604.67 in all funds, $218,977.01 in the general fund.
Okay, was there any additions? Yes, down below. Warrant number 010497, High Public Entity Consortium, $602.66. The bills were read. Resolution 16-2-1 was adopted on motion by.
I'll see it. One second.
Okay. Earl?
Yes.
Ewing?
Yeah.
Hardin? No. Knox?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Okay. Resolution bill passed. The independent auditors have contacted the village and will be starting the audit procedure for the fiscal years 2014, 2015 within the next month. If any council members are interested in attending the training sessions for newly elected council members hosted by the Ohio Municipal League, please contact Jill to set up your registration date. Our fiscal officer is not here this evening because there was a death in the family, so condolences to lots of families. So she's down in Louisiana, so it's a little bit tough to get here tonight. So if anybody was wondering. Nobody on the guest. Go to committee reports. Oh, okay.
I sent you an email.
Was it on my?
I sent an email. I got late on this to get on the report, but I'm Chris Woday from the Waynesfield Baseball and Softball Association, and I talked last year with you guys about adding another softball diamond to the park. We are in desperate.
Softball or t-ball?
Well, it would serve a dual purpose.
Okay, because I was under the impression it was t-ball.
It was a t-ball.
It would be the same dimensions.
They're not. T-balls are smaller, and we don't have the logistics there for a softball field. For a t-ball,
we
secondary.
We do have the logistics for a softball field.
You or you.
What I'm talking about is what we talked about in the location. There is room enough to put a.
Well, the one I want to correct you on is we only talked about a t-ball to this point.
Can I explain, please? The location that we talked about to put the diamond and the t-ball diamond was down by where the t-ball diamond is. That was recently put in because the diamond 3 got taken over with being round back. With the area down there on the south end where the t-ball diamond is, there is room enough to put another diamond on the hill train on the left-hand side south of the White House. There's enough area there to put at least a softball / little league diamond there that could serve for t-ball, little league, and softball and t-ball. There's 200 feet with another 35 to 45 feet to the driveway. I mapped it out on Google Map today just to get my areas if there was enough physical room there.
You could do it.
So, what I'm here to ask is if there was any way that we could push forward on trying to get this accomplished. Our numbers for the Diamonds and baseball for our summer programs have went up every year. Last year it went up 55 kids. This year, if we go up another 55 kids, we're at right now, we're at 17 teams fighting for playing all week long. We as an association put $3,000 to $6,000 a year trying to update the fields. We put new base stakes in, update bases, put top dressing on, try to keep them maintained and nice. We've had requests for to try to get like a adult softball league moved in and stuff like that. So to do that, we'd have to put a fence up and a home run fence. So we're trying to work that way and work in conjunction and help out with the village of Waynesfield. But there's the money issue as far as we only get so much and you guys get so much in your fund. So I guess my main thing is what I'm asking is for help to try to get another diamond started down there on the south end, in that bottom end, to try to make the facility better and useful.
Let me understand the location. Are you talking just east of the T-ball diamond?
I did this today. I printed off from those
Okay.
people. So this is the bottom, and this is where the T-ball diamond is. And I did a rough, quick estimate. So the big triangle lines is a 200 foot from that point. That gives us enough for at least a little league softball diamond. That's the minimum that we would need. So we could serve a dual purpose. And then the second line back, the little small stake would be 10 foot back from the baseline. So that would be where our fence is. So and then from the fence to the edge mark, we got about another 25 feet.
So we've got, I know we have the walk path that's slated to go through there.
We've already got a walk path that's already earmarked in there. Then also his other border that he's got on the left side is all the way to the property line that we own. So, I mean, it's going right to the property line, which means they'd be encroaching upon the neighbor. The other thing is we've also had the soccer association approach us about putting soccer fields in. And they're trying to lay out logistics for soccer fields also in our footprint. So we did talk about last year of putting in a second T-ball diamond as a practice, as an overflow, but it would be scaled way a lot less than this. But in this setup here, it would be getting into the walking path that's already slated to go in. And like I said, it would be right to the property line, which without a fence and all that restriction, you'd be having them playing in the neighbor's yard, which that wouldn't be acceptable to any of them, all the way there in my recommendation. So under this setup anyway, I don't see this being feasible. But we do have a T-ball diamond slated to go in as their request last year. But if you look at which they don't have a picture of it here. Yeah, they do. If you look at the dimensions of the T-ball diamond in place, the picture of it, it's dramatically smaller than what's laid out across the driveway. So what essentially this is an adult softball field you're putting in.
It's a coach pitch softball to Little League.
That's an adult field.
And it could be used as a T-ball field too.
Well, yeah, any of them could. You can always go smaller.
What I'm saying is the resources are there if we put a diamond up.
And the other thing we have to understand is baseball and T-ball is usually done by about the first week of June. And then you're restricting all other activities that are slated to go in this area also.
But that's not saying that we could bring in a adult softball, bring more physical activity to the park. I mean, I did talk to Dan Wilson, that is in charge of the soccer, and that field that they had over there, it is rough terrain over there, and he didn't have a problem with having the field put in there as when we talked last year. Because there is a soccer fields that's sketched in there, you can see from the
Yeah.
picture.
My thing is after about the second week of June, what, Nate, you're better versed in the sporting, in about the second week of June that we're done with.
When are your league tournaments?
We go all the way to the end of June.
So, I mean, then the facility, we don't have any activity there. So I'm hearing that I think it's based on a projection of something to come, but I don't think it's need for the T-ball. It's more of a, but anyway, he's
It is projected to come, but if we keep on growing and our community is growing, we are running right now out of facilities to host and bring stuff to Waynesfield, to make the park better. I mean, we helped out with fencing and keeping the diamonds up to shape, and we need more facilities so we can grow and make it better for our kids. And that's not saying that we can't use it at some
Well,
other time.
what Fred's trying to say, we only have so much real estate to work with, and there's a lot of projects that we're looking at. And we're gonna have to kind of review this and try to figure out how we can make it all happen, or partially happen, or whatever. I don't have a problem with whatever we need if we have the location and the ground to do it, but,
Does
That's gotten
soccer
us
and
too quick.
baseball go on at the same time?
Soccer is more around football season.
That's what I thought.
And I think they had 40 kids this year. We had 198. So, but like I said, soccer's trying to build up in Waynesfield, and I figured if we had the space and we'd try to put a big enough area, that was feasible to do.
That's a nice problem to have.
I know from previous neighbors, and one of the reasons we relocated the T-ball diamond the first year I came here was because it was behind the shop. And those balls continually went into the residence yard and it became a big issue. Then the village eventually put up a 6-foot fence, which helped. Looking at this projection here, I see 3 points where any ball leaving in the playing field is gonna go into residential properties. So, especially if you look at the left field line, the pin is right at the property line. And so that's saying that anything that goes out in left field is gonna be in the neighbor's yard. And same way with center field, and then right field is gonna be on those houses that are along 67. So unless there's a plan to install a 6 or 8 foot fence, and then we really can't do right field because the walking path, which we've already got a lot of activity on the existing one, and people are asking when we're gonna complete the project. It's, the pin on the right field side is directly in the walking path.
This triangle, is that on Wittenbrink's property then?
Hmm?
Is that close to Wittenbrink's property?
Which one?
This up there?
This one here is probably gonna be Cliff Roberts. on the
We still
right.
got about 20 feet to close.
Well, you're in the walking path at the pin.
I'm just saying, from the property line, you got about 20 feet. The other side is right on.
And then, center field is pointing towards, Waldy's, Bob Waldy's, I think in that general area. Like I said, left field pin is right at the new owner of Terry Reinhardt's property.
That's at Wittenbrink.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are things that you have to look at too, if you consider this, design.
What about the old Joan Cox place? What is that used for?
The what?
The old Joan Cox, her house?
where we park the
What's-
cruiser.
Where the cruiser is.
What's the hot?
Where we park the police cruiser.
The house where the
yellow
cruiser
house.
sits.
Oh, yeah, that's what this is.
Right. What the plan is for that, when we can get the funding, is to turn that into a community center where the elderly can have meetings, or anybody can have meetings, that type of thing. What we're looking at.
I heard there was black mold.
Yeah, the goal is to put picnic tables around the trees eventually and use that as an area for overflow from the parks. Again, like I said, the Ball Association approached us last year about,
Anything, except just sitting.
And we figured we could facilitate a
we
T-ball.
could do a
tournament
T-ball diamond, and that's
without
what we
any
were planning
problem,
on
but
doing
now
this
this just
spring.
kinda throws us in another,
Yeah.
okay, what do we do?
The only reason why it has 200 foot is because if the T-ball diamond's 60-foot bases, or 50-foot bases, the other one's 50 foot. It's just 10 foot more. That's just the maximum that we could possibly, 200 foot was the maximum that you could possibly put out for a fence. That's just a minimum for a little league. It's just-
And our plan was to put one plate more towards the curve, coming back towards the house, to restrict the amount of inconvenience to, the other properties.
Question. Have you looked at rotating that triangle?
That's what I said.
All the different ways?
Well, our plan, like I just said, was to do this T-ball. What we were planning on was putting home plate up here and facing everything this way on our own self versus here going towards that way. Before a T-ball, if you see how far they get the ball and everything, that's no issue. And then also that would allow the walking path to go behind home plate, which allow parents to walk, see their children, and so forth. And we expect benches along the walking path where people could even stop and watch the game. That's kind of the projected plan. But again, that would restrict how much, encroachment upon the residents. And
Is that where the big growth is at, Chris, in the T-ball?
T-ball had 6 teams last year. But the problem is those kids grow up and we're getting more and more bigger kids.
Okay.
And that's why we did talk about a T-ball, yes, that is correct. But to be honest with, if we just do T-ball, I would like to have it not grass infield, because if I do grass infield, we can't play softball or anything else on there.
That's a good idea.
If I didn't have the grass infield on the T-ball diamond, we could almost play softball there too. I got, like on Monday nights, I have 7 teams fighting for home position. Well, then I lose out and have to send teams back because we only got 3 diamonds.
Well, one of the reasons that we build a grass infield is to make it special for them, but also typically, historically, in all situations, the T-ball kids get left behind and they get sidetracked for all the others, and that's why they were down in a hole behind the behind the garage for all those years playing in water, because that's how they were taken care of. I put them up there and give them their designated field so that they can have their field if nobody else does. And so, honestly,
Is it,
I think
Fred,
I'm good with it.
Would there be enough room to convert the current T-ball diamond into a regular diamond?
Anything's possible, but I wouldn't encourage that in any way. Because first of all, the
That way-
dugouts and everything are set up for T-ball. The height of the benches are set up for them. The radius is set up for them. It's a top of the line T-ball diamond that nobody else has. And honestly, when I see all the activity generated through the summer with the families to the T-ball, I think it'd be a shame to take that from them. And I've even heard area teams want to come in possibly if they would ever put up a fence, which I was indicated that the Ball Association was going to put a home run fence up about 3 or 4 years ago. That hasn't happened. And
Fred, that's not correct, because we've talked about this, and I've been in charge of the Baseball Association for 5 years. And that's not what we agreed on the last time, was putting the fence up for Diamond 2 and Diamond and the home run and the T-ball diamond. And I don't want to take the T-ball diamond away from them. That's not what I'm saying. We need another diamond.
Well, see, what I was saying, convert that so it can be used for either or, and then you could always have another T-ball diamond over here. Because you would have room for that.
Not really. The reason we logistically put the T-ball diamond up there, I know you can't see it here.
You can't see
but with
diamond
the-
2.
But with the power plant there and going over into the traction line, you can see the traction line here
Right.
vaguely. And it's just outside. For these little kids, they don't hit the ball near that far, so it doesn't come into play in the walking path there. But if you was to convert that and turn it into an adult size league, then you would be hitting the ball into the neighbors, you would possibly hitting the ball into the substation, and a lot of variables.
Yeah, with the T-ball diamond, you got.
It was
that
actually
issue.
designed specifically for that.
Okay, you're on park committee, who else is on park committee? Okay, I went park committee and Fred, and anybody else that wants to be involved.
Question, what about the industrial park, if the land's not being used, could that be turned into ball diamond area?
What's that, Terry?
What's the industrial park? The land, the ground's not being used.
Ground between the
Well, you
factory
own it, I
and
mean-
Daybreak Estates. Is that what you're talking about, Bob?
Yeah. Why
Yeah,
can't
that's
that be
just-
turned into ballpark?
We could.
I mean, the town owns
Additional
14 acres up there.
diamonds,
What's that?
additional diamonds.
Or put all the diamonds up there, you could.
Well, you don't want to put them all up there because you need the facilities or whatever, but you
Yeah.
can put one or two up there. Because you don't have water, I mean, you do have water out there, but you have to put batteries, whatever, but if you put one or two fields up there, that takes the pressure off the rest of the place.
Some of our big issue was with the home run fences, because that's what we really want to grow into is number one, number two, and the T-ball diamond. We'd like to put fences up there, but then that intrudes soccer would not be able to have a field up
The
there.
reality is you have an infinite amount of space there. So you have to look at someplace else where you can put some of these, locate some of these other things. It makes sense. Why
Yeah.
take away a nice T-ball diamond and you need more space for the home run fences? But you have a finite amount of space there, so maybe you've
Well,
got
we
those
do.
14 acres there that are undeveloped and until you get a new factory. where's the
Well,
heart?
we also have, I don't know how many acres is that, the recycle plant?
Yeah, my point is, why don't we take, why don't you refer this to the Parks Department and with Fred's assistance, take a look at other available land that maybe would be in the influence of this. Just a thought.
There's a lot of money to be made in adult softball. I mean, they go there and they play ball and they spend money.
But the adult softball will not come if you don't have a home run fence because of
That's right.
clobbers. So
Yeah.
that's what our main goal is to try to get enough money to help out.
We just about have to have it here to make the money instead of having it like it used to be down in New Hampshire.
Okay, park committee, Fred, you guys try to work things like you can, get with Chris.
When's the beginning of
Try
the
to-
season start?
Part of April.
April.
Starts on
First
February.
April. So we have signups are supposed to, in the next couple of weeks, we'll have signups much as the last ones.
Well, I know to try to prepare a diamond for this year would be almost impossible to make it even halfway right.
Mhm.
You know, by the time we cut sod, try to get the filler in and try to get it set up, I mean, we don't have, like, say, the space or the people to get it done.
I guess we had to put $3,000 into New Hampshire because we had to raise it, so, but that's moving everything to New Hampshire, we don't get nothing from New Hampshire, Bob Case takes some of that one, if they do concession center stuff there, so.
Okay. Okay? We'll see what we can figure out. Okay, thanks, Chris. All right, committee reports. Anybody have anything? Okay, go to police report.
The recent scheduled power outages resulted in no major issues. Word spread throughout social media, news media, and with the help of the gas station, school, and fire department, we were able to notify as many people as possible. That said, there were some challenges in notifying everyone efficiently. I've created, and you should have received in your packet, a protocol for when there's a scheduled power outage. This protocol is basically a checklist of people and entities we need to notify and a few areas we need to address prior to and during the outage. This protocol should aid in streamlining the process in the future. Also, I'm researching how much an automated call system such as one like the school has with its One Call Now system that would cost, that would be at a cost and that we could implement for the village. We noticed that the calls we were getting came from people who didn't have access to the internet and didn't leave their homes to see the notifications on the signs and such. However, most everyone has a telephone of some kind, so if we had an automated notification system in place, and that would provide another avenue of letting the public know what is happening. I do want to note that the village utilized Facebook, paper postings at the normal posting locations in the village, news media notification, and text message alerts through the Nixle system to try to let as many people as possible know about the scheduled outage. The unscheduled outage that happened the first day was a fiasco, to say the least, because we had, as most people know, we had a brownout and then a schedule, then an outage after that. As with any unscheduled outage, there's only certain limitations we can do, but we did our best at trying to notify everyone that we could for that as well. Village residents and former special deputy at the Allen County Sheriff's Office, Steve Humes, has been sworn into the Waynesfield Police Department as an auxiliary police officer. Steve recognized how short-staffed the police department currently is, and since he lives in Waynesfield, wanted to help keep his community safe. So Steve works full-time at the Allen Correctional Institute, the prison in Lima, and has been a police officer since 2001. He's already put in about 30 hours this month already, but I look forward to continually working with him and addressing some of these crime issues we have here. Lastly, the state of Ohio, through the Ohio Collaborative Community Police Advisory Board, has mandated that every police agency in Ohio comply with the new Ohio Collaborative Law Enforcement Agency certification. Basically what that means is it's a 5-step process designed to make sure every law enforcement agencies are implementing the following policies within their agencies: use of force, use of deadly force, and agency employee recruitment and hiring standards. Currently in step 2 of the process, it must be completed by March of 2017. Eventually, a representative from Ohio will make an in-person visit to the police department to see the documents in person and ensure the procedures have been implemented correctly. After we've achieved compliance, we must maintain compliance annually with an on-site review being conducted every 3 years. Again, I'm working to get this process done well before the deadline. However, it has taken and is continuing to take numerous hours to obtain and create the documents the state wants. These standards are the first of anywhere in the United States, but once the process is in place, staying in compliance won't be an issue. That's all I have.
Thanks, Chief. Good administrative report?
Yeah, a real quick touch on what Nate was talking about. I want to thank the police department for all their assistance. From the moment I got the call from DP&L that they were going to be doing a scheduled outage, the police department took the initiative along with us to contact. We made personal contacts to all the businesses and large users that we could. Got it out on social media and everything. The police chief was very instrumental in getting that information out, so we're very appreciative of that. And then also, I don't know if I heard through your report, but he and I just discussed a checklist for in the future for that, and he drafted a very nice document that we will try to do as a checklist to try to avoid all the things that you can't prepare for. During that second scheduled outage, during the first scheduled outage, we found that we had something in the substation that needed addressed in a timely manner, but doing that would require shutting the town down. So we were going to try to alleviate that burden on the residents. I'm going to delay it till later in the spring, which we thought would be no problem, but it needed to be done. But once the second outage came along a week later, we coordinated with DP&L and got that done. So we did some repairs of our own during that second outage, which was needed. And so again, I'm just very appreciative of all the employees and the police department and the staff here in the office that tried to get that information out. I think because of that, the public was very prepared for that on both occasions. And as he talked about, the second one performed better than the first. DP&L let me know that due to a situation out of their control also created the brownout for 3 hours later. That was no control of any of ours. But fortunately, very quickly, the chief, along with the electric department of Waynesfield, shut things down and got it to where we protected, any major issues. So we're very appreciative of that. That's with electric. And then on just very quickly on the sewer side, talking to the engineer today, but there's been some activities at the lagoon. They're out there clearing the ground, clearing the trees, and for the site layout. We're anticipating that they will start moving dirt in March, weather permitting, of course. So we'll keep you updated on that, but right now it's just mainly clearing above ground to get prepared for that. With that, that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, appreciate it. Mayor's Court report, $749 was deposited into the general fund. Assignment of boards and commissions, the local board of taxation review, it was my task to have someone on there with an alternate, and the council to have two. Kenneth Admeyer will be on that board, and Barb Earl will be the alternate. Appreciate it, Ken. And has council gave any thought to who they want to put on that board this time?
I didn't come up with anybody.
Okay, I really need something by the next meeting, okay? Come up with.
Does it have to be anybody in the village or?
No, it can pretty much be most anybody. So.
Thanks, Fred.
But anyway, try to have somebody for the next meeting, so we've got that part put to bed, okay?
Keep it connected.
The Auglaize County Regional Planning Commission, the delegate will be Bob Miller, and alternate will be Rhonda Knox. I believe, Rhonda, were you on that before?
I think so.
Okay. Okay, let's go to old business.
So Christmas decorations on business. Would that be all?
Let's do it in new business.
Okay.
This first one on old business, if you're not sure what this is, last month's meeting, we done pay raises, so on and so forth. I apologize, partly my fault, I forgot to have you do it as an emergency to raise the pay scale for the police chief position prior to doing the raise. So essentially what had happened is we could not fulfill that obligation until this is done.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules of three meetings.
I'll second.
Okay, Miller,
Yes.
Earl,
Yes.